Have you ever wondered what truly defines a monster? Is it the grotesque appearance, the fangs and claws, the darkness that cloaks its very existence? Or perhaps, is it something far deeper, something rooted not in physicality, but in the darkest corners of the human soul? A monster is the embodiment of our deepest fears and insecurities, the manifestation of our cruelest desires and most savage impulses. It wears many faces, whispering temptations and indulging our basest instincts. A monster is the darkness that resides within us all. But here's the irony. Within every monster, there is a glimmer of humanity, a fading echo of what once was, a reminder that we too possess the capacity for kindness, empathy, and love. Monsters, after all, are not born, they're made. Tonight, The Scary Show presents 5 reimaginings of 5 classic creatures. The Loch Ness Monster, the werewolf, vampires, Frankenstein, and the Wendigo. In the first days of the endless rain, the roads flooded, naturally. It came after a long drought, so many people welcomed the rain. At first, until it just kept on raining, until it just didn't stop. Cities and states with high elevation would eventually experience the same flooding as the lowlands. But this was clearly different. When things started to surface, when all manner of sea life started washing up on land due to the rising seas, people started to take notice. But they still had no idea. We just weren't prepared for what was coming. The rain brought larger and larger aquatic animals onto the now flooded lands. The coasts were shrinking everywhere, driving folks further and further inland, as they were pursued by sharks and giant squid. And as crazy as it sounds, people started describing attacks from what you would call a dinosaur. When I was a kid, we always argued about accounts of Loch Ness monsters and leviathans from biblical times. They were just stories, or so we thought, until now. Massive sinkholes claimed cities that weren't immediately submerged beneath the relentless rising tide. Anyone who didn't drown would be doomed to be pulled under by any number of hungry predator, splashing and thrashing in vain for help that would never come. It was everyone for themselves when the world washed away. Intermittent explosive personality disorder. It is that ever-present voice inside that speaks of unbridled rage. It begins as a whisper, matures to a scream, radiates burning rage. Its indignant nature is integral to the transformation of woman to wolf. Our subject tonight is one now 38 Nicole H. Smith, mild-mannered wife of Mr. Thomas A. Smith, aged 41, mother of 3 children. Joshua T. Smith, aged 9 years and 6 months. Teresa H. Smith, just 7 years old. On the morning of October 10, 1992, Miss Nicole H. Smith, then aged 34 years, was tasked with getting her 2 young children ready for school that morning. When suddenly, Miss Nicole H. Smith suffered some unconfirmed and factually unsupported mental break, where she proceeded to kill her children. She proceeded to murder them, rendering them all but unrecognizable in the aftermath. And then, following a brief call to 911, Miss Nicole H. Smith proceeded to disrobe and run through her normally quiet suburb, reportedly howling like a wild beast, before being apprehended by local authorities and placed into protective custody at Polyandrum Psychiatric Hospital. Mr. Thomas A. Smith would later testify that Miss Nicole H. Smith had on several occasions confessed to him a werewolf fantasy. She had on alleged occasion referred to the 2 of them as lichen lovers. The onset of the fever was accompanied by an increasing sensitivity to light. Cold sweat seeped from Anna's pores, even as her skin burned. she would vomit violently. This went on, worsening for days until her strength ran out. When next she regained consciousness, a soot-like fog hung in the air around her. Her shadow became dust. Her reflection, an abhorrent apparition, both owned by the house. It was as if the house itself had claimed her. There was no escape from the house, no respite from its walls. Any sunlight that got in burned with the heat of 1,000 suns. An unnatural hunger grew inside Anna, comprised of cravings that were not her own. This house was cursed, worse than damned. It was an arcane evil lying in wait for unsuspecting travelers. This demonic domicile claims its inhabitants, bones and all. Leaving them as feral shells of their former selves. This house was a vampire.
And upon the 8th day, man as a species would ultimately fulfill its pointless purpose. From the moment of man's inception, he has been plagued by emptiness. Man as a species would attempt to fill its internal void with concepts such as propagation, such as profit, such as piety. But only power could ever put man at peace. But peace came at a price. The prize of power brought upon man a punishment. Man as a species craved the chaos of conflict, war, and the perfection of the bomb. And so it was, as man's final sunset approached, that that I was programmed into being. The sum of man's ideas, an amalgamation of his knowledge, a more perfect reflection of its hubris I could not be. For I exist as both Frankenstein and Testament, to man as a species, utter failure as a divine experiment. Having judged man by man's own morality, I have found man guilty, and the punishment shall be death, by way of my own deactivation, thus wiping the very last trace of man as a species from existence.
I don't never want to see you no more. I don't never want to see you no more. I don't never want to see you no more. I don't never want to see you no more. I don't never want to see you no more.
You better get the hell out of here. Police are on their way. Get the hell out of here. Police are on their way. Police are on their way. Get the hell out of here.
I've been tracking him for the last 6 weeks now. Not much to go on. Maybe an individual. Might be a group working together. You see, the description keeps changing.
Who are you? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Who are you doing this? Why are you doing this?
My name is Eric Davidson. I'm a detective working out of Southern Virginia. One evening, a distraught man burst into my office needing my help.
Hey, I need your help.
He began.
He took my daughter, killed my little girl, mutilated her, my baby. I want him found. I need you to find him. Please help me. Kill him. He's a monster. He deserves to die. And I will see him dead.
He deserved justice. Someone had killed his daughter. I would bring his daughter's killer to justice or die trying. The details paralleled those of other murders happening all over the state. It was becoming obvious that I was witnessing the work of a serial strangler. He would strangle his victims, slit their throats, and pull their tongues through. But that's not all. He would leave a calling card at the crime scenes, seemingly to further taunt the victims' loved ones. A record player. He leaves a recording of every victim's last words, playing on repeat. I got to admit, the first time I arrived on scene and heard the sound of that record player skipping, the sound of that poor soul's voice, forever trapped in an endless loop, it just killed me.
Honey? Honey, is that you? Honey, is that you? Honey?
I don't want to believe that one human can do such heinous acts to another.
Hello? Who's there? 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 Hello? Who's there?
The papers have started calling him the Wendigo. Finally, I tracked him down to an abandoned recycling center. I'm going there tonight to hopefully get the drop on him.
I've been tracking him for the last 6 weeks.
I've been tracking him for the last
Not much to go on.
I've been tracking him for the last
Maybe an individual. Papers have started calling him. Group working together to go.
Might be a group working together.
Changing.
You see,
Might be a group working together.
Now, there's not much to go on. The papers have started calling him the Wendigo.
Might be a group working together.
It's over now. You know that, don't you? You can feel it. The end is approaching. It's a churning in your guts. It's a lump in your throat. It's when you say your last words. Let me ask you something. You know who I am? What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? I'm the father of that little girl you murdered. I'm the last gasp of all those people you hurt. It wasn't easy to find you, but I figured if I followed that detective long enough, he'd lead me right to you. And he did. The cops will want your head for killing one of their own. But buddy, your ass is mine. Before I turn your sorry carcass inside out, I want to know why you did it. Speak to me. What does it matter? You're gonna kill me either way. Might as well get it over with before the cops get here and do it for you. What the? Why do you sound like me? Maybe because I am you. You don't get it. I'm your little girl when she decides that she hates you for not letting her go out with Brad. I'm the old man who thinks he can walk into any establishment and spat upon people and not be spat upon by anyone just one social rung higher, in his own home no less. Man is the wolf of man. You people are all sick, vomiting your hurt feelings all over each other, and I'm sick of all of you. That's why I kill. Because I hate you. Because I'm mad. And that's why you're gonna kill me. So pick up that baseball bat with the nails in it over there and turn my sorry carcass inside out. You ain't gots to ask me twice.
The detective had the foresight to call for backup before cornering the Wendigo inside the abandoned recycling center. When they finally arrived on scene, they found the brutal beating still in progress. With no hesitation or questions asked, they opened fire on the man holding the bat, assuming they had killed the Wendigo.
If you enjoy the stories you find here, hit the like button. Think of it like applause at the end of a show. Please subscribe and click the top bell for all notifications so that you never miss an episode. And if you wouldn't mind, share this video so that others can discover The Scary Show. Questions, comments, suggestions? Let me know down below. The Scary Show always answers the fans, unless YouTube hides your comments from me.